Welcome to Inspirational Transformational TV show. Amy Whitney here today with my very special guest, Nadine Mercey. Nadine is a vibrational healer, a speaker, an author, and she is so vital. She bubbles with energy. It's absolutely uplifting to be around her. She shares with us today so many topics. The interview is peppered with so much knowledge, and it's an absolute gift to listen to Nadine speak. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Nadine Mercey to you. Nadine Mercey, thank you so much for joining Inspirational Transformational TV show.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm excited, actually. Now, I like to start with doing a little bit of background information about my guest. So I was wondering if you would be all right with taking it from a point in your life where you were a successful businesswoman, you were married, you had 2 children, but you were ill. Do you want to fill in the details of that point in your life and how you sort of journeyed to where you are now?
Being ill, I don't know whether I can pinpoint a time when sickness started. It was off and on. I might get bouts of distension, headaches, dizziness, little things like that over a period of 10 or 11 years. I can recall as a little girl having severe migraine headaches, so I've always been sensitive to something, and the doctors couldn't put their finger on it. They might have told me once that I might have been allergic to a type of food, I don't even know the disease word that they termed it to be, but when they said that word, it didn't feel right. So I didn't even know that I was intuitive, but I just knew to keep going and that I was going to be okay, and somehow I would balance my energy, but I didn't realize I was balancing my energy. And then it escalated. I ignored all the signs, and I really became super sick. The more workload I took on, the more responsibility as a mom and a wife, and I was really, really searching for happiness, and I just added more workload on, and I wasn't paying attention to the signs, and I got really sick, and there were many things that they were measuring. I've had many, I suppose, precancerous cells they were diagnosing me with MS. There was blood disorder issues. There was many, many things and many pages. They really couldn't put their finger on it. So they were considering surgery. They were considering heavy doses of medication, and just something in me when I walked into the hospital, it wasn't for me. I chose not to have radiation, and I went home. I didn't know what I was going to do. All I knew was I just had to lie on the floor, be quiet, and separate everything else, close my eyes, shut the rest of the world down. And all of a sudden I started seeing colors and patterns outside my body. My hands were moving in a direction. I could hear a voice that came through to put my hand here and put my hand here, pull and push, and all of a sudden the distension went away. It was a matter of minutes. I felt the shock go through my body, a coolness, tingles, and instant relief. I started smiling. My family was there. They were all concerned, friends and family, and I got up and walked where I couldn't walk before, and I called the doctors, and I wasn't going in. And then I started reflecting back about what the color was that I saw, and Eric a few years prior was seeing colors above my head at certain points in my life, and I knew he was a unique individual and a unique child, and I was writing about what he was saying, and friends and family would flock to see what Eric was going to say next. And I think it was the point where he said, "Mommy, you're green today." He was 5, and I said, "Oh, what color am I normally?" And he said, "Red." And I said, "Draw a picture for Mommy what you see." And I had no idea what he was talking about. There wasn't Google at the time. I was calling on my friends and wondering if I was losing my mind here. What's he seeing? What is this? What are these dreams and visions I'm having? And he was seeing auras. and he was showing me that I was healing. So I began correlating my feelings and events that was happening in my life and when I was thinking, and I would check in with them. What's my color now? What's my color now? I couldn't wait till they came home from school, as I was progressing, and he was changing. So we wrote about it. He's 19 now, and he still has that ability. And he can see energy from a distance. He can diagnose from a distance. He's worked with the autistic children from a distance, and he's very, very accurate. And we seem to have similar energies where we can complement one another. They're not exactly the same, but we speak a language where somebody might not understand this, if that makes sense to you. So he was showing how our feelings and thoughts and emotions actually affected our physical body. And I knew that there was something to this, and I knew he would be my teacher, and I knew that I had to devote my life to this.
And from that moment, when you first laid down and healed your own distension, did you give up your career? Now, you were a successful realtor, is that correct? You were a top seller in Canada or something, I've heard.
That's correct. It was not common for me to do 40 deals a month, and which was a lot for two little kids, but it came natural to me. I knew even that flow. I knew how business and how people were energetically attracted to me, and it was a gift too, where I could use my own unique love and unique energy to help people transition. To me, it was so much more than them buying a home and me collecting a commission check, as some people might view a real estate agent. It was important to me that they knew, and they were very comfortable, very happy with their transition. So I was working with all their feelings and emotions, where normally you're taught as a real estate agent to take the emotion out. I was known as the nice real estate agent. So still wanting to help people, I really had a hard time separating that. It was 1 foot in real estate, 1 foot out, but at the same time, real estate, that schooling, I suppose, allowed me to have that playground where I could learn from other people. Eric taught me, he said, "Mommy, look in the newspaper here. There's your face. Here you have orange energy around your face." And I said, "What do you mean? People can read me, can read the advertisement?" He said, "Some people who are aware can, but some people aren't aware, and they just gravitate to you. Some people might know that you really need that deal that month and that you'd be willing to work harder for them, and some people just gravitated to you. They might think it might be your hair or what you're wearing, but they inside know that there's something else."
Nice.
So
now, I read on one of your blogs that, correct me if I do this incorrectly because I don't have it written down, but around 2 million children in America are misdiagnosed, medicated, and therefore lose their actual abilities, which is intuition, etc. Am I saying that correct?
You could. I mean, I don't like to put things in a linear fashion, but some people do. So to speak to the masses, I use that statistic, and I did find that statistic, and people do discuss, especially unique energies that children have, and they have a hard time expressing what it is that they need to communicate out, and when they can't express it, their energy gets suppressed and lowered through fear, and they get frustrated and they act out, and they truly don't like authority. So there seems to be a gap between authority and what the children in the new consciousness are trying to teach us and how they evolve. These children are born with unique energies. You could be sitting beside them, at your local McDonald's where they go, and your eyes could gander to their eyes or not. You could just be sitting beside them, and their heart energy has a unique energy to raise our consciousness and actually open up our feelings to remove thought form feelings and emotions. And they do that energetically when they're truly balanced and happy. So it's a natural sedative, I suppose, to old, young women alike, even babies in a womb of a mom. There's some all-knowing or sense of being of peace when they are at peace. But when they're not, and they're heavily medicated and misdiagnosed, and I've seen many children in my home where they've been diagnosed by doctors as being delusional, and the first thing that they know is to sedate them or put them on medication to stop the illusions or delusions. But you look at the definition of delusional, and what is delusional is when you are the only one seeing it, but I can prove it because I can see what they see. And
Amazing.
Then I can bring in my son, and now there's 3 people in the same room seeing what they're seeing. So
yes.
Who's delusional?
Yes.
And then I can bring in the parent, And we can play with the energy when the child is full of belief and fully connected and fully balanced. The parent is attached to them, their energy is attached, and that parent will feel comfort and warmth. And then I can also sense at the same time shift the energy to the parent when they're disconnected, and the parent will have a stomachache. And so there's 4 people now that are seeing this energy with a little bit of awareness that they aren't delusional.
Beautiful.
And so these children are now connecting in their belief and getting off meds when they have a voice and when they tell the truth. They're meant to teach us something that you can't read in a medical journal. You see?
Beautiful.
This is nothing to do with genetics. It's everything to do with spirit and everything to do with their unique energy and what it is that they bring in their awakening and how it is that they choose to. And what I say choose is they really do need to choose to use this or not. But it never goes away.
So the children are the leaders in this shift.
I know in my home, my 2 boys have been leaders, and I'm so grateful that I took the time to stop and pause to listen to them, because I wouldn't know who I was.
Amazing.
I wouldn't know at all. You couldn't find this in a book at the time. You couldn't Google it. But more and more people are talking about it because the children are having the courage to talk about it.
Right.
You know, and the more that they talk, and if you have open-minded parents who truly are trusting of all, open to all new opportunities and ideas and growth, those parents will evolve too and maybe return back to their unique healing, because everybody has biophoton energy. Everybody has a unique light energy through spirit. We all are spirit first, you see, and then it takes time to get it to the mental mind, to the consciousness. We only read and know. We only use 5% of the brain. So Einstein, I think he might, I don't want to quote here, be linear and box all this in, but he might have used 10%, 15%. So how do you tap into that 95% of you? And that's what we're trying to find, you see. We're trying to find our true path and our unique gifts, what we're meant to do, and that's in the energy fields, that's in your soul. And it's an ongoing thing. You know, terminology of know thyself. We've heard that. I don't know, someone asked me that, what do you think of that phrase? I don't even know if we know thyself. We're always learning. We're always exploring, you see.
Yes.
And number 1 cause of death is not disease. It's boredom. Boredom. Truly, if you stop, I'm curious to know, I wonder how. Or, you know, because evolution, nothing ever stays the same, nothing. So if you think that, I don't think that we can truly evolve.
Right.
And cohabitate and be healthy and prosperous in this world. I really believe that there's so much shift and so much consciousness shift, and we're shifting back to an innocence and purity of self-healing, an innocence of matriarch thinking, you know, using more right brain concepts of thinking, see it inside.
Why is this happening?
I don't know, and it's funny because I try not to ask all the whys, and I don't want to claim to know all the whys, because I can't imagine what I'm going to know 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
But maybe when we do ask why, you might be led to find the teacher to help spark something, to open you up, to know there's something else going on. We're guided by, you know, something else, that things we can't control, things in the mental mind like we think we can.
Yes.
We can't pick up the phone and get that deal like we think we can. When we get frustrated, we get angry, and we acquire feelings that are less desirable of us to be open.
Yes.
So when we have those feelings, it truly blocks the flow. So why limit yourself? Why put targets? Why put goals on yourself? Well, you know, by 3 o'clock I should have this done, or you know, this is typical business, right? And this is the cleansing that we're having now through the business world. Is things don't always appear to be. We can't solve. We truly can't solve, I guess, issues and concepts that we need to resolve with the concepts and thought forms that we created them. So we really truly need to stop and pause, use the right brain more, and not so much linear scientific way of thinking, and being more culture creative, and even bringing those culture creative people in a boardroom would help solve issues.
Yes.
You see, because they think outside the box.
Yes.
They think with evolution. They see it inside. They see a vision and watch it happen.